Now it's my pleasure to introduce Nat Titcume, who is also acting as our school sport national secretary during the week. But if you don't know much about Nat, I'll give you a little bit of a rundown, but she will be going into some of the experiences that she's had in her life. Nat's a 3-time Olympic medalist, 2000, 2004 and 2008. She represented Australia in softball for 352 games. Think about how many games maybe you played so far in your life. That was at the highest level for Australia. 36 of those were at the Olympic level. Nat's also been heavily involved as an educator as well. A school nearby here, she has been the head of phys ed. She's currently involved at Maribyrnong College, which is probably the education department in Victoria's kind of flagship of sport and trying to promote sports excellence over in the West. And these are some of the key things that Nat brings with her when she's teaching students and speaking to lots of groups. I've heard Nat speak quite a number of times. I think you'll be thoroughly entertained. She's a good friend to School Sport Victoria and to School Sport Australia. I'd like to welcome Natalie Titcume.
I'll start with this, but I do get a little bit excited, so I might yell out like this sometimes. Does everyone at the back hear me? Yeah, because I'm a PE teacher, so I am loud, and obviously I'm happy speaking to students, okay? You can I can already feel the excitement in the room. It's not raining, it's not windy, and you're not playing today, but you're going to be doing some other things. So one of the things that I specialise in is teaching leadership forums, not only to students, but to corporates, to other teachers, to you name it. I've been there from grade 1, who make me feel this small sometimes, and I'm going to go through that in a moment, to corporates. You know, I worked at AMP last year with 50-year-old CEOs who earn about $14 million, and they were listening to me and what I had to say. That little booklet that you got today, they got exactly the same thing, except they paid me a lot of money to talk to them. You guys, I do it for love, because I come from this community. I'm part of your community. All right, I'm not as young as I was. The video, I love looking at the video. Why wouldn't you? It's a 4-minute video of my softball career. Okay, it's a lot of games. There's 352 games crammed into 4 minutes. Every single one of those moments I can remember. Every single hit, every single strikeout, every single out, every single injury that I've ever had is crammed into that 4 minutes. All those memories come flooding back to me because of that video. Okay, and I love it. All right, so put your hand up if you want to play for your country one day. Yeah. Has anyone ever had a dream where they thought, I'm in this is real and it's happening, and you woke up the next morning and you felt unbelievable because of the achievement you'd had? Has anyone ever been there? It happened to me when I was 9 years old. And I remember this moment. It was the moment that I said, I want to be an Olympian. There was a few problems though. Softball wasn't in the Olympic Games. I wasn't in any organised sporting organisation. So I was 9 years old, so I had 2 hiccups already. I wasn't playing sport at any level. I was just going to school. I wanted to be an Olympian. My sport wasn't in the Olympics. And I was watching on television a lady called Glenys Nunn. And I don't know if you know Glenys Nunn, but she's an Olympic gold medalist in the heptathlon. I didn't do little athletics either, but I had a dream and I had an understanding and I knew what I wanted. And at 9 years of age, I turned to my parents that day and said, Mum, I'm going to be an Olympian. And my mum did what every single parent in this room will do for you. That's great, darling. I hope you get there. Yeah, we all had those parents. She didn't say, oh, you're kidding yourself. She didn't say you're a piece of crap. She didn't say any of those things, even though a lot of people in my life would have said those things to me over the time. You're dreaming. What are you thinking? Who do you think you are? You're a bit stuck up, are you? You think you're better than the rest of us? You're going to be an Olympian? So I decided that 9 years of age that I was going to be an Olympian. Nothing was going to stop me. I had a dream, I had an understanding, and I knew it was going to start. So the first thing I did was I decided, what events are in the heptathlon? I better start training. So every day from school, I'd come home. I'd set up an Olympic track in my backyard. I didn't have a very big backyard. Those of you who live in New South Wales, I grew up in Mount Druitt. I grew up in Housing Commission. I didn't have my own yard. The taxpayers paid for my yard. That's where I came from. So I would be out the back. I'd have a rolled up newspaper to throw as my javelin. I'd have a rolled up piece of mushy paper to throw my shot put. I'd line up all mum's pots to run my hurdles. I'd run around the clothesline several times for an 800 metres. You name it, I did it. And I did it every single day. Without fail, that's what I did. And at the end of every day, I was so excited. You know why I was so excited? I won a gold medal. I was an Olympian. My name was Glenys Nunn. I became Glenys Nunn. And I became Glenys Nunn not for one day, not for 2 days, but for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, this is what my parents tell me. In the end, they had to start calling me Glenys, can you come and have some tea? Because I wouldn't answer to my own name anymore. Natalie, come and have some tea. Nat, come and have tea. Wouldn't answer. Glenys Nunn, can you come in for dinner, please? Yep, on my way. Come in and sit down. Now what I did, is I made a medal, unlike this one. Certainly wasn't this shiny. I made a medal and I put it on every day. And every day, I haven't got a chair here, but I'd stand on a chair in the backyard and I'd sing the national anthem. And I would sing it with gusto. I would sing it like I was a gold medalist. I would sing it like I was the world's best. And I'd come in and I'd sit at the table and I had to leave my flowers outside because Mum wouldn't let me bring the weeds in and put them down. But I was allowed to bring my medal in and I was allowed to talk about what I did today. And I picked up lingo, like doing a PB. Did a PB today in the javelin, Mum. Awesome, Natalie. Oh, sorry, Glenys. Mum, I think I'm going to go to the Olympics again because the first time was amazing. And I remember saying that and my mum going, yeah, fine. And you know, I sort of went with it for 6 weeks and sort of thought, yep, that'll do. I actually joined Little Athletics. Except, you know, I was at the age where there was another really good runner called Kathy Freeman. Don't know if you've heard of her. And she went on to Olympic glory. I decided that I wanted to play team sport. I loved softball. I loved what I got out of softball. I loved all the personalities in softball. And we all know those personalities. We've got your very serious people who are very into statistics. We've got your pitchers. That's why they put a circle around you, to keep everyone away. We've got your coaches. Some of them like to lemonade your signals. Some of them like to point at you. Some of them like to use their nose. Some of them like to use all these other things. They're all different, all these coaches. Who likes their coach? I'd put your hand up if I was you, they're all here. Who's had a coach who you couldn't stand? Who's had a coach who you absolutely loved? Who had a coach that taught you something that you weren't aware of? That's great. That's the type of personalities. Who loves umpires? I do now that I'm retired. Absolutely. Okay? But there is so many personalities in softball, and that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to take you through a little journey about learning about how to deal with these personalities. Because personalities and how to deal with them and understand them makes you a better leader. It's unbelievable. If you can connect with 4 different types of personalities, that's 4 different people that you already can understand what they're thinking. Because I hate to tell you, Generation Y, not everyone thinks like you. Not everyone is you. You have to be able to be flexible. You have to be able to understand coaches, umpires, teachers, siblings. Even if you come from the same family, you can be like you're from Jupiter and Mars. My brother, he's from Uranus. I'm from Mars, but we managed to get along. We don't have to be from the same planet to start understanding what's happening to us all. We just have to be open to it. Okay, who's ever tried to negotiate with their parents a time to come home after a party? You guys learn at such an early age to be great negotiators. Some people may call that manipulation, but we like to call it negotiation. Okay, and that's what we call it in the corporate world, and that's what we call it in the teaching world. We negotiate. We don't manipulate our students. We negotiate with our students for an understanding, and that's what I'm going to teach you today, how to do that. How to do that with your coaches, how to do it with your parents. You might learn something a bit about your parents today. You might be able to get that thing that you really want because you're able to communicate with them. Well, it's time for my second piece of jewellery. Goal setting. You'll notice that one was bronze and one was silver. And I'm not 9 years old anymore. And I'm going to tell you about destiny now, and how destiny enabled me to have these on around my neck today. Softball was not part of the Olympic program. In 1993, someone really famous called Juan Antonio Samaranch. Anyone heard of him? He's the guy who says the winner is City. Remember that? No, because you all weren't even born. Okay? But he was the one who said the winner is Sydney. Softball now has just been inducted into the Olympic program. It's going to be first played at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. In 1993, I am 17. Put your hand up if you're 17. I'm not in the Australian squad yet. I'm part of this. I've just finished my second year of CHS. I used to play for New South Wales, obviously. And I was in Melbourne. So talk about destiny, this is quite remarkable. Except I wasn't here, I was out at Altona. And Altona was a regional destination back then. Now it's become part of the city. Okay, so I'm 17, I'm at a schoolgirls national. Sorry boys, you weren't there at that stage. And we're winning, we're playing, it's fantastic. And then we get this thing called over at the time that we were playing to say softball has just been added to the Olympic Games. I'm pumped. My 9-year-old self comes back. Now I can be Natalie Titcume, the Olympian, not Glenys Nunn, because my sport is at the Olympic Games. This is huge. This is huge, and I understand how huge it will be if it gets back in the Tokyo Olympics. I understand that fully, how that will be and what that will mean to a lot of the girls in this room. Okay, and it's unfortunate, boys, but you're not there yet, but they're still pushing for Commonwealth Games, they're still pushing for it to be a sport because it's a great sport. So destiny has happened. It's now in the Olympic Games. I am now just on the cusp of making the Australian team. I am so motivated. I am so pumped about playing my next nationals in Canberra. I have a decision to make. I've been told that I can be captain of the under-19s New South Wales team, or I can go up to the seniors team, the Opens, and maybe not play full-time. So going from the best player at under-19 level being the captain, to you can go and play Opens and maybe have some time on the bench and learn. And I made a really big decision. I decided that I was going to give up the under-19s because at New South Wales you can't play both levels, you have to choose one. And I decided to go to Opens a year before I was due. And I knew I wasn't going to be the best player in that team, and I knew I had to work hard. And every single opportunity I got at the Nationals, because I wasn't a starter, every time I got to play half a game, and at bat, whatever I did, I just made sure that it was like my last at bat. It was like my last opportunity. And this amazing thing happened. Every opportunity I got, I did well. At the end of the tournament, an AIS squad gets announced. The first time there's an AIS squad. The softball is now in the Australian Institute of Sport. I get handed a sheet, an envelope that says, you now have an AIS scholarship as a softball player. Little steps. Didn't play much. We actually lost nationals. We lost to Queensland. 3-1 in the final. I had an at-bat, got struck out on 3 pitches. Pretty awesome time, that one. I think I looked at one and swung it two as hard as I could because I thought if I'm going hard. So I didn't help contribute at all in that game from my perspective. We lost the final, I got struck out on 3 pitches, pretty embarrassing, but at the end of it, it wasn't about that one at bat. It was about what I did every single other time leading into that. It was what I did every single time leading into that moment that made it worthwhile. It was when I was given that envelope to say, you have an opportunity that in 3 years' time or 2.5 years' time, you could be at the Atlanta Olympics as an Australian Olympian. Now that sounds cool, doesn't it? So for me, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about finishing school. I'm the first one in my family to finish year 12. When I went to my parents, kind of like when I told them I wanted to be an Olympian and said I want to go to university, they went, okay, that's great, honey, how are we going to do that? And I put it out. I knew I couldn't afford university, so I put it out. I put out all this stuff. I seconded, I went to ACPE, I heard about this sports university and thought that's for me. I want to be a PE teacher, but I want to go to a sports. And I went out there and I signed all the documentation and got a scholarship to ACPE. And that was helpful because it was $4,000 a quarter to go there. And it was up front because it was a private education. First time, here's the girl from Mount Druitt, now in a private school, getting a scholarship to go. So I had to work hard. And I knew I couldn't just take my foot off the accelerator. I had to make sure that if I told my parents I was doing this, I had to follow it through. There was going to be no sideways entry. There was going to be, hard work was the only way I was going to get through this. And I wasn't an excellent student. I wasn't your A's and B's. I was your C's. I was just passing. But once I knew that I wanted to do something, I set my sights on it. And that was the important thing. It's not about how academic you are at times. It's about setting goals and working out a strategy that works for you. And we're also going to go through that today. What works for you? Some of you have probably done so many goal-setting things at school, it's not funny. At the start of every year, you go to your peer group or whatever it is, whatever the school wants to call them, you go to your homeroom and they give you a goal-setting sheet. Who's been there? Yeah. And you talk about your goals and a lot of kids go, want a good BCE score, want a good HSC score, want a good score in my ATAR. Good, better, awesome, put a number on it. I want to score an 80. I want to score higher than what the temperature is today, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be amazing, it has to be for you. If you want to score a 20 ATAR and you know it's going to be hard to do, write it down. If you want to score a 90 ATAR, write it down. Just don't say I want to be better or I want to be good. Write it down. What I want you to do is on the front page where it's got exercise. I want you to circle any word that you think. Don't ask the person next to you, it's a silent. This is amazing. It's a silent thing for you to do. So I want you to just circle any word that you think is you. Don't ask the person next to me, do you think I'm loud? Do you think I'm annoying? Okay, do you think I'm fun? If you think you're fun, circle it. Couple of lights.
What's goa?
Goa means doer. I'm a doer.
Is that even a word?
Of course it is. I made it up. I've got lots of tittisms, I call them. Okay, so remember, you're not asking the person next to you whether you're a talker, whether you're loyal, whether you're patient. You're circling it because you think you're those things. This is your personality. Okay, and if we looked at this bunch of words together, and you thought, I can do all of those things, some of them you're going to be better at than others. So what I want you to do, I want you to put a line down the middle of the page, just like that. Right down the middle, between friendly and ambitious, straight down the middle.
That's not very straight.
I'm already hearing a few things that I'll talk about in a minute. Then I want you to put a line in between talker and cheerful and loyal. And now it's going to show you that there are 4 quadrants on that page. Then what I want you to do, I want you to add up the amount of words that you've circled in each quadrant, just like that. So if you've circled 7, 4, whatever it is, just circle right in there, and then I want you to circle, make it very pointed, that whatever one you have the highest number in, that's the one we're going to focus on for the moment. So if your highest number is up here, I want you to focus on that quadrant. If your highest number's down here, I want you to focus on this quadrant. Because what I'm going to get you to do, when I change this slide, you are going to make the noise of whatever is up there as loud as you possibly can. 3, 2, 1. So looking at the top left where that peacock is, can you stand up for me please? Okay. What I want you to do, what you already are really good at, is make squawking noise like a peacock. Go. If you were in the top right quadrant, you are a lion. Can you stand up for me, please? All our lions. And now, can you roar like a lion for me, please? Go. Okay, sitting down. Our lower left quadrant, you are retrievers. Golden retrievers. Stand up. And make a noise like a golden retriever, a very happy golden retriever. Okay, sitting down. And now, our bottom right-hand quadrant, where are our wise owls? Stand up if you're a wise owl. And everyone, guys, owls are nocturnal animals, so everyone needs to be quiet to hear our owls. So everyone else be quiet, and I want our owls just to make a little hoot, hoot, hoot. Off you go. Okay, sitting down, thank you. Okay, so what have we already learned? That there is a lot of frickin' peacocks in here. What do we think the personality of a peacock is? Ah, look at me! Oh, I'm beautiful! Oh my God, I'm so dramatic! Peacocks, peacocks, peacocks. A lot of athletes are peacocks. We are on display at all times. If you hadn't realised, I'm a peacock. But I am a lion on the softball field. So your personality can change. It's okay. You don't have to be a peacock forever. You don't have to be a drama queen. You don't have to blame other people. You don't have to blame the sun. You don't have to blame your parents for having you born. Any of those things. You don't have to blame the high hair dryer because your hair's not right. Whatever it is. Peacocks, there are a lot of us in the room. They are also the hardest people to lead. There's a lot of you in here. A lot of peacocks become leaders because they want everything. Yeah, give me the rewards. Give me the attention. I'll show you my feathers. I'll squawk. A lot of them want to become leaders, but they are the hardest ones to get to follow because they're so busy freaking talking about themselves. Okay, our lions. Our lions are very good at goal setting. They're very good at staying on task, but they don't like it when somebody comes to try and take away their task that they've set out. They have a very short fuse, our lions. Our retrievers are our goal-orientated beauties. You throw them a ball, they will get it, they will bring it back, they will complete the job every single time. Put your hand up if you're a retriever. Every coach loves you. You're coachable. You're very easy to get along with. You listen. And our wise owls, where are our owls? Okay, listening up, peacocks, listening up. Our wise owls. You almost freaked out when I told you to draw a line down the middle and then a line across there. You wanted a ruler because you're about perfection. And you wanted to ensure, I don't know, if I circle this word, some of you may put lines through it. I've seen some very interesting things that owls do on this page. I know that if there's something left on the floor later that you haven't taken home with you, a peacock left it behind. An owl will never leave it behind, and it'll never have dog ears, and it'll be handed in and beautifully presented. Am I right, my owls? Yep. They love graphs, they love statistics, they love seeing an endpoint. Okay, but today I'm going to take you through a little journey of how you make decisions as athletes and as people, because it may vary. And I'm going to start with our owls down the bottom and move to our peacocks, because I know peacocks, they don't have very good attention spans, and this is going to be a test for you, because you're going to have to wait last to hear what you're good at. So our owl, when you're making decisions, you're very objective. You do your pros and cons. You're very cautious. Once you make a decision, you know you're all in. Never will an owl make a decision that they're not going to try and follow through and be perfect at. I'm not an owl, obviously. An owl will decide that the decision's right for them when they have all the facts. Our loyal retrievers, they're slow, sure and studied. They make excellent followers, but they also make extraordinary leaders. They avoid being different. They like to blend in. Now, if I was in retail, I'd be saying, why are loyal retrievers amazing for my industry? I'll make a mannequin, I'll set them up, I'll put some nice clothes on. A retriever will walk in and go, that looks good, I'll have that whole outfit because I know it already looks good. A peacock will go in, have you got that in orange? You got a brighter colour than beige? They avoid conflict. They'll never ask, does my butt look big in these pants? I'll just go, I'll just assume it's okay, it looks like everyone else's. They may not decide, they may look like they're not making decisions, but they are. And they're following through. As I said, they're the best ones to give something to do in a workplace or in if you ever get to do a group activity. And I know when I give my students group activities, they go, where's my owl, miss? Where's my owl? Where's my retriever? Especially the peacocks, because they all start crapping their pants about getting it in on time, because they've gone, oh, what about that? Oh, they're great at giving ideas, not great at following through. Something that I've had to work on. They avoid risk. They're not very risky. They do your meat and potatoes. They're your great number 2 hitters. Need a sacrifice? I'm your girl. If you want any answers about really what's happening in the world, sit down with a couple of retrievers and just speak to them in a way, and they will share everything. They're great at sharing. And they're great at understanding, I'm not being a bitch, I'm just giving you the details about what I've seen. Now, with stress, who has ever gone 0 for 10 0 for 20, 0 for 30 in a tournament. This tournament, awesome. Okay. What's your name? Michael. All right, Michael, thank you for sharing. Now, Michael, it might have dawned on you that yes, you are 04. You've got a big donut next to your name, and when I look up the stats, I see Michael 0. 0 does not show what you've contributed. 0 does not show me how you can recover. 0 is a number. Also, it's Wednesday. There are still 3 days of competition left. So what personality were you, Michael? The peacock. You got my work cut out for me. But you're going to recover by laughing at yourself, which is exactly what you're doing. And you're acknowledging that, Houston, we have a problem. I haven't had a hit. And that's okay. Because it's fixable when you finally say there's a problem. Most people, they don't want to say, I've got a problem. They don't want to tell anyone, oh, there's something wrong. I've got like 6 people in my head and they're telling me all these different things. Yeah, there's a problem there. Maybe you should share that with someone. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit down. Maybe it's a little dark at the moment for me. But if you don't acknowledge it and you don't share it with people, you cannot recover. And that's with all of these personalities. But as a peacock, you're going to recover, Michael. I'm going to check on you on Thursday afternoon, see how you're going. And it's not about, if the number is still 0, that is not the point of this exercise. The point is, are you changing something? Are you contributing in another way? And are you happy? That shows that you are recovering. That you can smile about it and say, it happens. As I said, you can get struck out on 3 pitches. I've been struck out on 2 pitches once. You're the umpire for it, but I still got struck out on 2 pitches. Because the umpire forgot to count.
Wow.
It happens. But you've got to have fun. You've got to feel like you're free from schedules. Today is perfect for a peacock if you're 0 and you've got a big donut or you're not playing as well as you'd like, because you get a rest day. You get to have fun. You get to acknowledge everyone around you. You get to enjoy Melbourne's beautiful weather for a change. You get to go sit in a sport coliseum today. There's so many people. You will not be the first one to stand there and go, wouldn't it be great to play in front of 100,000 people? If you're a peacock, that is motivating you. That's exciting. If you're an owl, you're like, oh, maybe not so exciting. Okay? Our leader lion. Again, if you haven't done well during this tournament starts tomorrow for you. Start again. Forget about what you've done previously. Start again. Rip out the page if you're a leader lion. Go from here. Think of it as a new project. It's another tournament. If you're a retriever, this is again another perfect opportunity for you just to sit and reflect. Some people will think, oh, they're not doing anything. They're not looking at any video. They're not asking for any help. They're reflecting. As long as you're acknowledging that there is a problem, you are going to be okay and you will recover. And our wise owl, you're just taking your quiet personal time today. You'll write it down, you'll acknowledge it, and you'll be able to move on. Okay, so it's all about recognising that there's something that you need to fix. That's how we recover. By saying I'm fine, oh, it's okay, that's not acknowledging that there's a problem. Okay, but every day, and that's the beauty of softball, is that you may have 2 or 3 at-bats in a game. If you're a leader lion, you can recover every single time. It's a new project. Here we go. What am I bringing into it? Making sure that you're changing something every time. Don't get down. Okay, I've faced some of the quickest pitches in the world and been blown away. And I could have walked away and gone, well, that's not going to be any good. I'm never going to hit this pitcher. But it's about changing something every single time. And not changing a lot, changing small things. Because you know what? The person in the circle is just as vulnerable as the person with the bat. And I think once you start thinking, they put that circle around them because pitchers are crazy, and you start thinking, underneath all that crazy, they're just as vulnerable as me, and it's now just you and me. Without that pitcher letting the ball go, nothing happens. The world of softball does not exist. So it has to happen. But think about it in that way. Think about the pitcher's meant to beat us 7 out of 10 times. I spent a whole career trying to change that. But you know what? At the end of a career, it still works out. You're freaking awesome if you're still having 3 from 10. And you're contributing in other ways to the team. In fielding, in supporting, in being prepared, in understanding that there's going to be a game tomorrow. Understanding that if the player next to you is having a hard day, it's your job to pick them up. Take the focus off yourself. If you're 0 for 7, still 3 more opportunities to get something done. Because softball is a great leveler. You can go 10 for 10 and then you can go 0 for 10. Now, leadership style. Wouldn't it be boring if we all led like, the same leaders? And I'm going to guess that all of you have different principles. And I'm going to guess that some of the teachers here have had all different bosses, and I've certainly had different bosses and different coaches and different managers. They all have a different style. Now, there's no use in if you're an owl, trying to be a peacock. That's not going to help. You might grab a bit of the percentage, but you've got to use your strengths. These are your strengths. But understanding how to get other people to follow is the important thing. Peacocks are inspirational. They love having things out there that you can aspire to be. They're optimistic, they're motivational. They're your rah-rahs. They're your, come on, let's get on board, hop on my feathers, we're off somewhere. Your leader lions are your big picture. They're naturally in charge and they're quick to change what they think will work, and they'll make a decision. They have absolute self-belief. They're the ones that walk around and go, oh, they think they don't stink. Oh, look at them go. And they're pretty upfront and candid. They'll be the first to say, this is what you should do and this is what you should achieve. And you think, wow, that's high expectations, but they're pretty upfront about it. There's no hidden agenda with a lion. Now, Royal Retriever, they are great diplomats. They are the person that if you're feeling a little bit low and you want to go shopping, take a Retriever with you. Because they'll say, that looks fantastic. Oh, I think you should really get that. You look really skinny in those pants. They're the best at that. They're not impulsive themselves though. They're not like peacocks. If I go into a shop and I see something, I usually go, how much have I got on my credit card? Awesome. It didn't decline. Loyal Retriever, they'll walk around for a little bit. If I gave you all, does everyone know where Chadstone, the fashion capital, is in Melbourne? Yeah, you guys should. If I said to you right now, I want you to go into that belief, I want you to be there. I've given you all $200 to spend right now. I'm going to give you 30 minutes to spend it at Chadstone. I'm just going to go through our shoppers. Our leader lion is already on their phone, already checking out what shops are at Chadstone. They already have an idea. They're going to make 1, maybe 2 purchases. It'll be electronic. It'll be something that they know they can go in and it'll be exact price when they get there. That's how our leader lion's going to shop with their $200. It'll be spent within 5 minutes of being there because they've done their research and they're prepared to go. And they'll make a decision. Our wise owl is still questioning whether, have you really given me $200? I'm not sure about that. I'm a bit sceptical. I think you're full of it, Nat. I don't think you're going to give us $200. I don't think you're going to give me my 30 minutes at Chadstone. Okay? So they're going to question it for a while. Then when they actually believe it, they'll be like, okay, they might not even get to spend their $200. Half an hour won't be enough time. Because they then, once they believe it and it's happened, they'll be like, oh, now I need, can you give me another 30 minutes? Now, a Royal Retriever, they're going to walk into Chadstone and just look around. Whoa, I've got $200 to spend here. And they're just going to walk and look at lots of shops. They're going to watch our peacocks running from shop to shop to shop to shop. Going, wow, look at them. They've already got 5 bags in their hands. That's how our peacocks shop. They just are in there. They're fun. They've run into the first shop they've seen and bought something because now they feel, I've got the $200 and it actually works and I've already spent $10 on this crappy phone case, but it's awesome. So I've got to purchase so I know it's real, and now they're going to run around. They haven't done any research. They're just going to look for things that stick out to them, and then they're going to go in and go, oh, it's $30, how much do I have left? And that's how they're going to be. The retrievers are going to watch them the entire time because they're entertaining. And then our retriever, after watching the owls, after watching the lions, after watching the peacocks, the retrievers will go and buy a few items, and they'll do it just at the last minute. They'll have 5 minutes to spare maybe, and they'll come away with purchases that they know are good. They know that other people like them, and they know that they're probably going to blend in with everyone else because everyone's going to come back and say, "What'd you spend your 200?" And lots of the retrievers will say, "I spent it on this, and then they'll go, "Yeah, me too." The peacocks will go, "Oh my God, I need to go refund. This doesn't even fit. Who do I buy this for?" Our lions will be sitting there just so happy reading their instructions of their new tech gadget that they've bought. And our owls are wishing that they actually trusted somebody. And they actually thought, that's a missed opportunity. And next time that happens, I'm going to believe them. I'm going to work on myself and I'm going to start believing a little bit more. I'm going to be okay with that. Okay, so what we're great for. Everyone in this room is great for something. Whether you're a peacock, whether you're a lion, whether you're an owl, whether you're a retriever, you are all great for something. You're all here. You all have an opportunity to learn. I can see a little twinkle in some of your eyes. I'm glad that they're not in the back of your head sleeping. So I've obviously been entertaining enough. But all of you need to start believing that you are leaders. Not that you want to be leaders, but you already are. Each and every single one of you is leading someone. And that person is yourself. That person is acknowledging that these are great attributes. Every word on that page that I first gave you can be you. It means acknowledging that maybe you're not good at it just yet, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it. I am still striving to be each of the 4 quadrants. It's a journey, it's not a sprint. I can't just wake up one day and go, geez, I'm an owl. It's not going to happen. I have to work on that. I have to start presenting differently. I have to start thinking about how would an owl do this? How, if I'm a leader of a team and I've got something to do and I've got 4 owls in my group, how am I going to communicate with them? How am I going to get them to help me? As I said, you guys need to start believing in yourself a whole lot more. Come out from the background. You are the most coachable people in this room. You are awesome at keeping true friendships and understanding what friendship is. You have a lot of patience, which is so extraordinary in any world that you go into. Patience is a really good virtue. Our peacocks have to practice at being patient. Now for me, being a peacock and a December birthday taught me about patience. Okay, I told you I didn't have much money when I grew up. My birthday's in December, right next to Christmas. Yeah, horrible, isn't it? So when I was at school and everyone's getting new books, new bags, new Walkmans, new boom boxes, all through the year, I don't get one gift. I don't get one present. I get a chocolate at Easter. That's fun. But I have to wait all year for my gift. And by that time, what I started to recognise was that all my other friends and all these other people had birthdays in January, February and March and up to June and July and August. They didn't care about their things by December. It was used. It was so old. Or it was broken. When I got my shiny new thing, whatever it was, in December, I absolutely loved it. I didn't care whether it wasn't the newest gadget out, because that came out in January, now you're getting in December, we're all over it. I didn't care, because I got to see how people treated it, what they did with it. I got to be patient and I got to appreciate it. When I finally got it, it was awesome, because I waited. And I didn't go home and bitch and moan to my parents and say, oh, everyone else has got it, can't I have it now? Because I knew what the answer was. No, we don't have the money. I knew that that was going to be the answer, so why? Just be patient, put it out there, put it out to the universe what you want. There's nothing wrong with telling somebody what you want. But you have to be patient. It's not like an email that you can expect a reply within 5 minutes or a text message. And I know that you guys are part of this generation of Facebook likes and Instagram and Snapchat. And it's all about instantaneous feedback for you. The one thing that the retrievers are really good at is patience, but it's one thing that every single quadrant lead needs to learn is patience. You need to understand that it's one of the best things in life, because if you're patient and you wait, when you get it, it will be awesome. And I'm going to tell you another thing that taught me about patience. Put your hand up if you're the number 16 in your team, like 16 uniform. Yeah, not many number 16s? I'll tell you why number 16 is my most hated number. Okay, 15 people get selected for a team. Has anyone ever been number 16? I have. My first ever attempt at making the Olympic team for Atlanta. Guess what player number I was? 16. I was selected first reserve. When the president of Softball Australia called me and said, "Natalie, congratulations, you're travelling as a reserve," he expected me to be ecstatic. I wasn't. I was gut-wrenched. I thought, wow, I really thought I'd make that team. And it was horrible, because for the next 8 weeks, I had to go on tour with the team as a reserve, knowing that I wasn't going to be playing at the Olympic Games, knowing that I was training to help my team compete at something that I really wanted to be a part of. Remember how all those things, when something doesn't go right, you just want to back off, you just want to sit in a dark room, you just want to do all those things. I didn't have a choice. I did. I could pull out and say I don't want to be reserved. That's crap. I could have appealed, said I'm better than that person. There's so many things that I could have done. But I decided to acknowledge that number 16 was going to be a number that was going to motivate me for the rest of my career. And I would never be number 16 again. And I would never be 17 again, but I would never be 15 either. I wanted to be number 1. Number 1 rectifies a whole lot of things. You don't miss out on much, but you have to work hard. You just can't go, I want to be number 1. You have to work hard to be number 1. So I went to Atlanta, and Peter Eddebone, who's on the wall over there, as a 3-time Olympian also, she broke her ankle 5 weeks before the Olympic Games. Guess who gets to go if she doesn't pass the fitness test? What? I'm thinking this could be extraordinary or this could be devastating again. And I have to help now my teammate pass the fitness test 24 hours before the Olympic Games. I'm out there doing the fitness test with her, because everyone else is getting ready to opening ceremonies and all this kind of stuff. I'm out there 24 hours before the Games begins, helping Pete pass the fitness test. Because that 8 weeks taught me so much. It taught me about patience. It taught me about what it is to be a team person. It taught me about humility. It taught me about hard work. By the end of that 8 weeks, I realised I wasn't ready for the Olympic Games. That's why I wasn't chosen. Because I don't choose the team, somebody else saw that. So Pete passed the test. Fantastic. There's tears, there's crying from everyone, you know, because it's an extraordinary thing. She's managed to come back 2 plates in her ankle, and she's playing at the Olympic Games. For me, this is why it's the most difficult time of my life, and that's why I want to share it with you, because you're going to miss out on things. You're going to fail, and you're going to fail superbly in the next 10 years in your life, because that's the time where you're going to fail most, and you're going to hear no a lot, and you're going to hear that's not acceptable, and you can't do that. I got back to the Olympic Village, and they said, "Natalie, you have to leave the village now, because the Olympics is about to start. There's all these rules about who can be in the village or not." I was spent 4 days in the Olympic Village, the greatest 4 days of my life. I had a suitcase full of things, full of all the Olympic gear, all in plastic. I'd worn 3 things out of that bag. 2 pairs of training, 4. 2 pairs of training shorts and 2 tops. I just re-washed them. So I didn't want to touch it until I was an Olympian. I was only a make-up Olympian. I was number 16. So when I got back to the village, all the rest of my team was all dressed up in their opening ceremony gear, about to head out to the stadium. Pete's running around telling everyone she's passed, which is great. My job is to pack up my bag and get to the front of the village. There's a taxi waiting for you. I'm 20 years of age. Manager walks me down, I hop in a taxi, she gives him some money, takes me to a hotel. I get to the hotel and I go and check in. I've got, 4 bags. I've got a full Olympic bag with the Olympic insignia. I've got my playing bag, and then I've got like a small bag with just some clothes in it. Because everything else is team gear, team issue. So I get my key and I go up to my room and they help me, they help me with all my gear into my room, and I sit on the bed. I'm a 20-year-old girl who 24 hours ago could have been an Olympian. I'm now sitting on a bed in my hotel room by myself. Pretty low point of my life. A few things went through my head. Open the fridge, minibar. This could be awesome. This could be a superb failure. Or I could shut that and I'd sit back on the bed again. I looked at the Olympic bag, and you would have seen it the other day when they put out the Olympic uniform and they show all the luggage and all that kind of stuff. I had one sitting in my room less than 2 metres from me that had a full Australian uniform in it. Opening ceremony, closing ceremony, playing uniform, village apparel, socks, undies, shoes, you name it, it's all sitting there. I could get it out and I could pretend I was Olympian for the next 2 weeks during competition. But what I did is I got the lock out of the bag, I locked it, I went back down to reception. I said, can I organise to get this bag sent home to my parents, please? Yeah, sure, Natalie, off we go, goes home. I decided at that point I was never going to open that bag. I hadn't earned it yet. In 1,362 days from now is when I will earn my bag where I can rip everything open in there and put it on, and that's mine. And that's the Sydney 2000 Olympics. I decided at that point I could be lonely and sad and cry for the rest of the afternoon, or I could do something about it. And my 1,372 days of training started at that point. 2 days from now, the Olympic program was about to begin. I had tickets to every single game, not just the Australian games, every single session. I went to every single session. I went to learn. I took my little notepad. I scored every game. I watched everything. I put myself in situations, what would I do if I was in this situation again? Because that was training. That was something that I was like, that's 4 years from now, that's the pressure I'm going to be under. That's real. You don't get to do that anywhere else. I have an opportunity as number 16th player, as first reserve, to learn something from this. So in 1,372 days, when I'm out there with my team, it's like I've already been to the Olympics. It's like I've already got the experience that is so hard to get in this game, because experience lasts forever and it's something that you can share. So I decided that's how I'm going to be. Now, fast forward 20 years. I still have that suitcase. It is still locked. I used to use it as motivation all the time. I had at my parents' house, had a batting tee set up, bag right next to it. Ball on the tee, look at the bag, bang. Ball on the tee, look at the bag, bang. 100, 200, 300 times, no matter how many times I put the ball on the tee, I looked at the bag. Because I wanted to ensure that that bag, being disappointed, being upset, being at my lowest point, that I was going to utilise that for good and not for evil. I wasn't going to be harsh about it. I wasn't going to blame anyone for it. I was just going to work hard. And that's what this is, understanding your personality. For me, I was a peacock. Until that moment, until a peacock gets shot down with an arrow and you're sitting there reflecting going, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. You have to acknowledge it, you have to respond to it, and you have to find a way that works for you. And for me, it was about finding a retriever. It was about, I already had lion in me, don't worry about that. It was about finding that bottom quadrant for me. It was me starting to think, I need to surround myself with people who want to see me succeed, who want to help me. Even if personalities of coaches down the bottom here weren't great for me, I still respected and acknowledged that they had things that can help me. And I started to understand that. I started to sit with the scorers and understand statistics and understand how it worked. I managed to sit with the video analysis and learn about hitting charts and spray charts. And I had to force myself to do that. But that's the beauty of it. Nothing on that board, because you're a quadrant up here, says you can't do the other things. You just have to work harder at them. You're already good at that quadrant. Don't spend so much time going, I'm a peacock, this is awesome. Work on the other things. Work on other personalities. Be around other personalities. Don't be around people just like you. Because we have words for them, they're called yes man. They agree with everything that you do. Sometimes you need to be around people that don't agree with you and have an opinion, and that's okay. This is how you work. These are great words. For a peacock, they're quick. We make decisions, but we can also go off on tangents. We see something pretty over there, oh, I want to go over there. Lead a lion, they work hard and they prefer to work on their own. So if you know a lion, give them space. They'll come to you when they need help, but they like to work on their own. Our loyal retriever, they're always constant, they're always keeping you in the loop, they're always there, they're telling you how they're going, what's their status, what's their update. They're great at finishing tasks. And our wise owl, they're deliberate. They're great, they're diligent, and they're very, very responsible people. They don't take on a responsibility unless they know they can achieve it. But as a catcher, I used to try and get my pitchers not to think. Because I had to make my pitchers, who were most of the time owls or peacocks, I had to make my pitcher a retriever. You listen, you be coachable, you trust me. And without leadership skills and without me understanding how they work, I can't get that done. And you ask any pitcher that I ever worked with, the one thing they'll say about me is that I trusted Nat. Because if it went wrong, I wouldn't blame the pitcher. I would discuss it, I'd talk about it, I'd reflect, and I wouldn't let them just take it, because pitchers, they have a lot of pressure. The catcher's there to take the pressure off them. But there's always that one time when you nail it and you hit it down the middle and you're like, that is the most awesome feeling of the world. That's what I want you to do. Even if it's in warm-up. Wherever it is, remember that feeling. Understand it, because it will happen again. And the better you get, the harder you work. It's unbelievable, but it happens more often. Then you start middling the ball. Then you start seeing the ball fly off the bat. Then you start envisioning winning and understanding and getting better. And you guys have got 3 more days to improve on your craft. And that's exciting, because I get to watch it. I get to watch all those people who put their hand up and said, I'm 0-4, I'm going to find you. And I'm going to watch. And it's not about you being 0-4 at the end of the week. It's about what you've changed. What you are going to contribute to your team that is going to be the most vital. Because getting down on yourself and saying you crap and saying, oh, this is terrible, isn't going to contribute to the team. It's not even going to contribute to you and your growth. So think about that when it's all going pear-shaped. How can I contribute to better myself? How can I contribute to better my team? How can I contribute to better my environment? Because a happy environment is a far more successful one. Whether you've got lots of money, no money, whatever it is, look at each day as how am I going to grow and how am I going to get people around me to help, because you can't do it by yourself. And that's what we learn about sport. So I'm going to time, pretty much on time. So thank you very much. If you want some photos with the medals,